very fortunate to have grown up and lived most of my life in Central Florida, very close to an area known as the Central St. Johns River Basin. The St. Johns River has gone by many names over the years, most of them the result of various European explorers and conquerors. The earliest recorded name for the St. Johns comes from the Timucuan Indians. They called this body of water Welaka, meaning river of lakes. The St. Johns River begins in a swampy river basin known as Lake Helen Blazes. From there it meanders very slowly over 300 miles north, where it empties into the Atlantic Ocean near Jacksonville. The total drop in elevation from source to mouth is only 30 feet, or about 1 inch per mile, making the St. Johns a very lazy river indeed. About 100,000 years ago, a very short period of time in geological terms, the St. Johns River was actually an ancient intracoastal lagoon system and part of the Atlantic Ocean. Over time, sea levels dropped, and barrier islands along what is now Florida's east coast became an obstacle that prevented water from flowing east to the ocean. Instead, this water collected in the flat valleys of central Florida and slowly meandered northward for about 300 miles until it could find its way to the sea. This formed what is now called the St. Johns River. The St. Johns River is fed by many freshwater springs that are part of the Florida aquifer. One of these springs I know well, Blue Spring in Volusia County. During regular weather conditions, Blue Springs pumps more than 100 million gallons of fresh water into the St. Johns every day. Yes, I said 100 million gallons of fresh water every day. Because this water is coming from deep underground, it's not affected by outside weather temperatures. Therefore, this water maintains a consistent temperature of 72 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, making it a haven for all animals in search of relief from cool winter and hot summer temperatures. Blue Spring is also a state park, so hunting, fishing, trapping, and the like are prohibited, making Blue Spring one of the most amazing ecosystems I have ever encountered. The Florida manatee, also known as the West Indian manatee, find Blue Spring a haven in winter months. The warm water and the protection provided by the Park Service makes Blue Spring an ideal environment to hold up for the winter. Adult manatees are 10 to 13 feet long and weigh between 800 and 1,200 pounds. However, some adults have been documented weighing up to 3,500 pounds. Females have a gestation period of 12 months, and their calves are born at a length of about 4 feet and a weight of about 70 pounds. Most mothers give birth to a single calf about every 3 to 5 years. However, on rare occasions, twins are born. Scientists believe that manatee are closely related to the elephant. If you look closely, manatees have toenails, just like elephants. Manatee are herbivores, feeding mostly on water hyacinth and turtle grass. Adult manatees can consume over 150 pounds of vegetation daily. All of that chewing quickly wears down their teeth. Because of this, manatees are constantly growing new teeth in the back of their mouths, causing the old teeth in the front to fall out. Manatees can live in either fresh, brackish, or salt water. However, if they spend long periods of time in salt water, they must find fresh water to drink. I have seen manatees hang around ocean marinas and drink directly from a freshwater garden hose provided by humans standing on the marina dock. Manatee will usually surface every 3 to 4 minutes to take a breath of fresh air. However, if necessary, they can hold their breath for much longer. When sleeping, they rest on the bottom and surface about every 20 minutes to take a breath. Manatee have a tough skin that feels much like sandpaper. However, this tough skin is no match for a boat's propeller. The majority of the manatee I have seen in the wild bear the scars of boat propellers across their back. Manatees have poor eyesight, but they have a keen sense of smell and a good sense of hearing. I think there was something about the smell of my kayak that they really enjoyed. Manatees communicate by making high-pitched sounds, and they also leave messages for each other by rubbing up against things and leaving behind a scent. Manatee are federally classified as endangered species. However, they have recently been reclassified within Florida waters as threatened, with a population of somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 species. As the Blue Springs run empties into the St. Johns River, the water becomes a tannic tea-colored brown. I've used this river to relieve the hot Florida sun many times. However, it's wise to stay alert. The history of crocodilians dates back to the Triassic period, some 230 million years ago. Alligators and their kin are modern dinosaurs. They have existed virtually unchanged for the past 65 million years. Throughout the 18 and 1900s, the American alligator was hunted to near extinction. In 1967, it was placed on the endangered species list. However, by 1987, in a mere 20 years, the American alligator had made a full recovery. Today in Florida, there are not many natural bodies of fresh water or brackish water that do not provide a habitat for alligators. In the 1970s through the 1990s, in a 30-year period, there were a mere 9 confirmed fatal alligator attacks. However, in the last 5 years, there have been 11 fatal attacks, and in May of 2006, there were 3 fatal alligator attacks in 1 week, right here in Florida.
Here I am on the Welaka River, probably about halfway up from the mouth at the St. John's, heading towards Welaka Springs. Beautiful day out today. A little bit hot, but being on the water, there's a good breeze. Really nice. I'd like to take a swim, but I'm a little bit worried about alligators. They're everywhere. They're all over the place. I don't see any right now, but I can assure you that there's probably 4 or 5 of them right in this little area right here that are just watching me right now. Probably not real big. If they were big, I might see them. But they're around. They're everywhere. I can't paddle 20, 30 feet without seeing one. So they're all over the place. The water's kind of clear, but there's definitely some deep, dark holes out through here that they like to hang out in, and normally I would. I've swam through here many times, but here this year, just a couple months ago, 3 people were killed and eaten by big gators, and that doesn't happen very often. And so maybe they're a little pissed off that we're taking all their land or waterways. So I'm not going in. I'm not going swimming.
Now, I am no expert on the St. John's by any means. However, I have spent much of my youth and adult life exploring its waters and tributaries, observing its flora and fauna, fishing its banks, camping its shores, and swimming and frolicking in its waters. When I am near the St. John's, I like to close my eyes, smell its swampy smells, and hear its soothing sounds. And every time I'm overwhelmed with a sense of childlike joy, a feeling of tranquility so deep down inside, a genuine sensation that this is one place in the world that I truly belong.